System overload, motherfucker. All right. So I think we're back here. All right. So, all right, Tora White. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Just a reminder, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Garage Doors Plus in Quincy. If you have one of those old, rickety garage doors, right, it's time to get with the times, right? Stop getting out of your car. Stop picking it up, right? Stop living in the freaking 1800s. Time to get with the 21st century. Call our friends at Garage Doors Plus in Quincy up. You can find them out or look for them online at gdplus.com. All right. Give them a buzz, and our buddy Chris will come over to your house pretty much anywhere in New England or Virginia or New Hampshire or wherever, Canada. It doesn't matter where you live, anywhere but Coleraine. And they'll give you a great quote. It's going to blow you away. That he's going to install it in one day, just a couple hours. That's all it takes. And he's going to give you a nice little clicker. You're going to press the button. Boom, garage door goes up. Boom, garage door goes down. All right. Garage Doors Plus in Quincy. Give him a call. Tell him the turtle sent you. All right. So let's see if we have everyone back there. So we were having some technical issues with the FUPA computer there. All right. Looks like we got everyone back. That's great news. All right. So Uncas turn on all chat instead of top chat so we can see us. Now, I can see you. I can see you. I don't know why it just wasn't loading before. All right. So, anyway, so what's happening, people? Basically, it's been a really ratchet week in Turtle Boy this week. We haven't had a lot of, big stories like we did last week. So how I like to do this is kind of open it up to you guys. Any topic that you want to hit on, you can, or you can leave it up to me, and I can talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. Because I like to differentiate between the late night garage podcast and the live show, and at the live show I like to do more ratchet stuff, and on these Tuesday and Thursday shows I like to get more in the nitty gritty, right? Talk about important issues going on in the news and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll notice that Brett's in the comments right now. That's Brett. Man, Brett's got a really raw deal. Brett went to court today in Brookline to Brighton District Court. And he got all the arrests. So Brett is facing criminal charges of harassment. They did not serve him because they didn't have an address. You can just put any address you want. It doesn't matter if you've lived there, whatever. They put some address on Church Street, which doesn't even freaking exist in Worcester. And so he's just fucked. He doesn't show up because he doesn't know about it. He lives in Maine anyway. And it's so fucked up because this person has filed 3 separate incidents with the police. And I read the reports. Brett just sent me the reports. It's very disturbing and scary because let me just read one of them. Let me see what I got from Brett here. There was one part of this that was really fucked up, and I know Brett's in the comments right now, so he could probably fill you guys in some more. But there's one here on February 2nd, and then another on February 3rd, and then on February 14th. So Charlotte went down to the police station and basically wasted the police's time with this stuff, on this nonsense. And ironically, I want to read part of this that's just so amazing. All right, so on February 2nd, Brett Killeran posted numerous harassing and threatening messages on my Facebook page, including TikTok, her time is running short, we're always watching. First of all, that's not harassment at all. TikTok is a commonly used phrase, meaning your time is up. It's not harassment, right? And 1-800-235-DEAD. That is a popular meme that people use when it's oh, I'm dead. You tell a funny joke, you're dead. I blocked him from viewing my profile and went to the Brighton police station to file a report. So this is an individual, by the way, who I have blocked on every social media platform possible. And now he's trying to play the victim, Charlotte is, and claiming that, he's had to block people that are out of control. Other way around, right? He goes, while there at the police station, 2 strangers simultaneously posted my address and phone number on my Facebook page, stating that Brett Killeran instructed them to do so because I blocked him. Get ready to ride the turtle is the quote. So nowhere in there does it say Brett Killeran instructed him. So he's not even saying that Brett Killeran posted my phone number and address on there, right? He's saying that other people on behest of Brett Killerin, on his behalf, right, are posting Charlotte's address and phone number. That doesn't even make any sense. It gets better, though. It gets better. The next day, Brett Killerin posted more harassing comments on my YouTube channel, including threats of arson against a local music venue and my house. I filed a second police report. This is an individual who literally threatened to burn my house down with a Molotov cocktail, going to the police and complaining about it. This is insane. This is insane that we live in a world, in a state, where a criminal can commit a crime, like Charlotte did here, and then go to the police and claim that the person he committed the crime against committed that same crime against him. That's what just happened. That's insane. That's insane. That's like committing attempted murder, and then you go to the police and you file criminal charges against the guy you tried to murder for attempted murder. Like, that's insane that this can happen. I am blown away. Right? And so Charlotte McFarland has filed this lawsuit, whatever. We got all that and got a year. Brett said it was 4 years. By the looks of this, I thought it said 1 year, but I could be wrong. Maybe I misread it. I kind of rushed through it. Has like a restraining order, which is serious shit, you know. And then it gets better. Over the next 2 weeks, more harassing comments and threats appeared in a forum called returntothepit.com, which threatened arson against my house. These comments were posted anonymously, but the language was nearly identical to the earlier threats I received from Brett Killerin. So, identical language. So this person has no idea. I guarantee Brett is not in this stupid Return to the Pit. It's a heavy metal forum. Brett's not in there. I didn't even know about this fucking thing till recently. But because this lunatic thinks that's Brett, it's him, therefore. I filed a third police report against him and Aiden Carney of the blog Turtle Boy Sports. The fuck do I have to do with any of this? I never communicated with this person. I blocked this person, right? But you could just file a police report against me. That makes sense. And it says, the police wrote at the bottom, and shame on the fucking Boston police for even humoring this. We're very good to the Boston police. We support them a lot. The officer that fucking wrote this report should be ashamed for not looking into this. Do your fucking job, Boston police. Seriously. We fucking are very good to you people, right? We support you with all the bullshit when people like this come after you. And you're going to write a fucking bullshit report like this? Take this lunatic side? Get your shit together. It says, ongoing issues from over 1 year ago, the police wrote in this. She blocked permanently, but now they are allegedly escalating. She blocked me. What? No. I blocked Charlotte. Charlotte complained about that. This is insane. There's one point in this too, in the actual police report that really, I just couldn't believe it. So this is the incident report on another day that she filed. Or he filed. And it says, it should also be noted that while the victim was reporting the incident, the suspect placed the victim's home address and phone number on the social media pages. But that's not true. In the other report, it says that somebody else did. That's a lie by the Boston police. The Boston police are lying in this police report. The Boston police are lying, right? And the victim is unsure of how the suspect, Brett, received his personal information. However, they believe the suspect got the information by hacking her friend's phone. That's all you need to know right there. She goes in there, Charlotte goes in there and says, well, Brett somebody posted my phone number on my page. It wasn't Brett, but I think it was somebody that Brett sent. How do I know that? Well, the only logical conclusion I can reach as a crazy person is that Brett hacked into my friend's phone, because that's what Brett does. He's a fucking hacker. He hacks into your phones. And he got my address and my phone number, and then He wouldn't post it on my page, so he got someone else to do it for him. And although that person didn't say that they were doing so on behalf of Brett, the language they used was similar, so I just kind of assumed it was. And as a result of that, I was able to get a criminal harassment order and criminal charges filed against this individual without even notifying them of that. This is insane. This is the most corrupt shit I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. I'm ready for a fight. I'm ready. I welcome the fight. I welcome the fight. Right. And guess what? Fucking strongly worded blog fucking shaming the Boston police is coming tomorrow. Seriously, that pisses me off. We're very good to the police. We support the police. We live in an anti-police culture in this country, right? Especially in Boston, where people like Didi Delgado and stuff like that are always shitting on the cops. Not us. We're good to the cops, right? We support them. And they're going to write some bullshit report like this? Why? Because they're fucking scared? Don't be fucking pussies. How about that? Police, don't be fucking pussies. Seriously. Sometimes I think Turtle Boy's the only one with fucking balls in this town. Right? We're the only one that's not afraid of a fucking mob. Jesus, if you're afraid of social justice warriors, don't do the fucking job. Seriously. Christ almighty. Christ almighty. All right. What did it say? David saying, Charlotte posted again on Return to the Pit again today. Don't you have a harassment order? I don't. I have a harassment order hearing against her on Monday. All right. I also have in court a week after that a deposition with the Dartmouth Yoga Poon in which Aaron Hernandez's gay lawyer is going to be deposing me and asking me, I don't know what kind of questions, but it is what it is. Now, Laura, I bet stuff like this doesn't happen in the UK, does it? I bet it doesn't. Yeah. Of all people, F you guys over a year for a BLT to 1 exactly. Yeah, Brett the Hacker. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about before we pick some stuff here? All right. So the other day we talked about the Fall River recall election. What a fucking joke that is. What an absolute joke that city is. Only in Fall River. And by the way, so the Fall River thing kind of makes me look back from a historical perspective here, right? This happened in the election in 1824 as well, and it's the reason a lot of people whine about the two-party system. Well, you only have two parties to choose from. Well, look no further than J. Seal Korea over in Fall River, right? That's what happens when you don't have a two-party system. You have 5 people running, right? And there's one that everybody hates. 61% of the people voted to recall Correa. Jussie Jazel, right? 61% voted to recall him. But yet he wins anyway. Why? Right? Because that 61% was divided amongst 4 people. How stupid are those bottom 3? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? You're sabotaging the election. You knew going ahead of time. I mean, I didn't follow any of this shit, but I guarantee if I did, you would have a general idea that like the one guy, Coogan or Coonan or whatever his name is, he lost by like a couple hundred votes. It was like 4,800 to 4,500 to 1,900 to 1,400, 700. So I don't even need to know. Like, you know how politics works, right? Like, the writing is on the wall. The only 2 that had a shot were the first 2. So if you truly want to get rid of this guy, your job is to drop out of the race and endorse one guy. That's it. This is why we have a two-party system, people. Because in the election in 1824, there was 4 people that ran for president, right? It was Andrew Clay. No, Andrew Clay. What am I calling? Henry Clay, sorry. There was John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, and one other guy. I forget the other guy's name, right? And how it worked back then, so nobody got the majority, right? There was, obviously, it's hard to have a majority when there's 4 candidates. Andrew Jackson got like 40-something%. So he got more electoral votes and he got more popular votes. But he didn't get a majority of either one, right? And so what ended up happening was Henry Clay, who finished in 4th, drops out. But he had a bunch of electoral votes to spare. And you can just give them out to whoever you want. So he gave his electoral votes to John Quincy Adams because Andrew Jackson was like the Jason Correa of America in 1824. He was the one. He was the douchebag, right? Like people were like he was the white trash president. People didn't want Andrew Jackson to be in the Oval Office, right? He wasn't sophisticated. He was from a Western state, right? John Quincy Adams was a Boston Brahmin. They trusted him, right? So he throws his Henry Clay. They call it the corrupt bargain because Henry Clay ended up becoming Secretary of State in the Adams administration. So he gives all of his electoral votes to John Quincy Adams, who lost to Jackson in both the popular and electoral votes. And John Quincy Adams became president for one term, and then Jackson beat him in 1828. That's why we have the two-party system in America today, because of that election. And when people always want, we need more than two-party, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I know it sounds good to say that. I know what you mean when you say that, I don't always agree with the Democrats and I don't always agree with the Republicans. That's fine. But you can't have it. There can be no other way but the two-party system. It is the only thing that works in a democracy. Just pick your team. That's it. You don't have to agree with your team on everything. Sometimes you can vote for the other team. It's okay to do that too. But you can't have 5 billion parties running in every election. It's not going to work. It can't work. So, while we're at it, let's talk about the 1924 election. Silent Cal. The 1924 election was one of the most uneventful elections in American history. It was Calvin Coolidge against John C. Davis. It was an absolute blowout, right? Because, the economy was roaring in the 20s. Coolidge, they said, keep cool with Coolidge. And John Davis didn't even have a shot in hell. So that's why. Boring election. Yeah. Bring back this day in history. I know. It's just nobody reads. I mean, I'll try to bring it back, but like the page views on that were like, quite frankly, depressing. I like blogs that get read, personally. What else are people saying? It was a blowout. Whew. Let's talk about nudity in movies. That's kind of weird. The Bull Moose election was 1912, guys. 1912. That's what you're getting at. Let's talk about abortion. Let's not talk about abortion, actually. That sounds terrible. So anything, if you guys want to throw something out there to talk about, I'd like to kind of open it up to you guys, or I can rant about shit. Dick peddling, Dick jockey, some good names this week. Glory Hole Gloria, that's one of my new favorite ones of all time. The Juice and Jeremy thing, you guys saw this going down. Our boy Juice and Jeremy lied. He lied about being in fear for his life. As it turns out, he was actually the aggressor. He runs Justin Moore over with his car. Right now, if you watch this video closely, right, and it's just gonna foop a computer if I start watching it now. But basically, they got an incident inside the bar. He goes outside. Moore is standing in front of his Jeep. Dude just plows over him and backs up. There's no reason for it. There was no way out. He wasn't in his way. He intentionally just hit him with the car, uses it as a weapon. I don't know how he's not under arrest for that, but he's not. So he backs up, pulls out of the parking lot. Moore wants to get his license plate number. He's got a gun on him. He's been drinking. He pulls the gun out, and according to him, his lawyer saying he accidentally discharged it. Now, I'm not a weapons expert, but that doesn't sound believable. Guns don't accidentally discharge, right, because someone bumps into you. And even if you're saying, well, my finger was on the trigger and they bumped into me, okay, well, maybe so. Why the fuck is your finger on a trigger, right? In a residential area, right, with all those people around. Now, one thing I didn't know about this, right, is I apparently in New Hampshire, it really is a live free or die state. You don't have to register your guns. That's crazy to me. I don't know. I'm not a big gun control person, but I have no problem saying that, guns should be registered. Like, we should know who owns guns. Like, guns should be licensed and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school like that, right? Maybe I'm a liberal commie, but I just like to know who's got all the guns. I think that's a good thing to know. Maybe I'm just a, libtard, turtle boy, whatever, right? But I feel like, that was up. Anyway, let's see. Ratchet Madness is coming up too, by the way. 2 more weeks. So the Ratchet Madness selection show is, people are saying the bad guys don't register. Yeah, I know that. I know the bad guys are going to get guns. I know that, right? But, like, is it that bad for legally, law-abiding owners to just register? Like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. What's the big deal? Registration equals confiscation. Why does registration equal confiscation? How so? The government doesn't just come and take your guns because you register, right? You carry a 40 here, constitutional carry. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with constitutional carry. I'm definitely in favor of concealed carry, like 100%. But I just don't get why. It just seems like, what, you don't need a license? You don't need to, like, register the gun? I don't know. I think that's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, like, if you're drunk and your finger is on the trigger, yeah, you can't do that. I mean, it's 100% his fault. Didn't Plaxico Burress's gun randomly go off? Yeah, I think he dropped. I guess if you drop it, it could go off, right? What a moron he is. Yeah. They ought to make registration cheaper so more people have guns and the law-breaking people have no excuse. I'm not a gun owner myself, but I live around gun lovers and I feel safe. Yeah, I mean, I have no fear of guns, put it that way. Like, I'm not like, ooh, icky guns or anything like that. I just find it interesting that I had no idea that New Hampshire was like that. None. So, anyway, what was I going to talk about? I was about to rant about something before I went back to this. Wasn't Juice and Jeremy. It was, somebody brought up something. What the hell was it? Let me bring it up. Before the registration shit happens, could we vote Gupta as co-host until Brett returns? Yeah, Gupta's once, a special guest kind of thing. I can't ask him to do it. It's a lot, to ask. I mean, Gupta's fucking phenomenal. Gupta had the funniest joke the other night, by the way, when Gupta said, what did he say? Oh, I can't do the Gupta voice. I can't do it justice. But he was basically like, oh, the kids come in my store and they don't buy a slushie, so I say to them the name of Trump's newest book. Get the fuck out. I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know where Gupta gets this shit. All right. Let's see. Oh, it was Ratchet Madness. You guys want to talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about Ratchet Madness. I just had it up too. Let me pull this up. So I'll give you guys... So Ratchet Madness is going to be starting in 2 weeks. We're going to have the selection show, right? 2 weeks. Let me see if I can find it. So, and I've kind of I haven't come up with the official bracket yet. There's a lot to go over. But there are some good ones, man. And I keep forgetting a lot of these. Like Greg Bates, Sedania, Gaffney, Waters, Jack Off Sauce, the Fitchburg Fupa Fungus, Myra Brown Jackson, the Akeem Bailey Phone Guy. Remember that guy? They still haven't found him, by the way. Terrible story. Victor Pena, the I-93 pooper. Remember that chick? They took a dump on 93. That's pretty ratchet. The Plymouth Pickle Puffer, the barbecue dude. The guy down from Woonsocket. Meg Baton. Cindy's Ice Cream. Remember their rap video there? There's some good ones in there. Oh, man. The Hyannis Hog Gobbler. I don't even remember some of these. The Ashland State Park Porridge Pumper. The Malden Meth Puppets, the guys that found the banner. There's a good one on there, too. Bobbin for Boners. Maud. Right? Who else is a good one on here? Eddie Pork Chops. Right? The Foxy Lady Strippers. Who else we got here? The Beluga Beefcake, that big chick there. The Bukkake Pound Cake. We got some other good ones. Strokey Sullivan, the Wear Him Jizz Ninja, Candy Dennis. There's some good ones on here, man. Mark Prince, he's a good one. Failure Swift, Hurricane Beefaroni, the Malden Muff Buffer. Man, there's some good ones. There's a lot to get through here. Fupacho Grande, Franklin's obviously on there. So it's going to be a good one. It's not nearly a big enough one. Mass Health Martinez, that's another good one too. All right. So anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about topic-wise, or I can just rant about shit, whatever you guys prefer. Or I can talk about politics. I want to talk about this, the Democrats. So I just did this blog real quick on the Boston Globe headline, and their headline reads, Is this the right time for a white guy? And it's a picture of Beto O'Rourke on it. So Beto announced yesterday that he is running for president. Now, I don't know much about... I listened to Ben Shapiro's podcast on him today and actually learned a lot, right? But I just know that I've always been saying since the beginning, Beto is the biggest threat to Trump. He's the closest thing we have to white Obama. He is. Whether or not I'm not saying I agree with him on shit, but he is what he is. He's like a Texas Democrat who gave Ted Cruz a run for his money in a very red state, which should be a very red state. You know, I think he's a threat. But he's also, I didn't know he was like a trust fund baby. Like he was like literally born into millions of dollars. He married a woman who's even richer than him. And he he's literally like Jack Kerouac in real life. Like he is a full-fledged kind of like, I'm like a hippie stoner dude who like went and found my way on Route 66, and I got like wicked high on peyote, and almost like a regular dude, and I go into like town halls and bars, and I talk to people about problems, and I'll tell you one thing, they don't want this wall. Nobody wants the wall. So that's going to be him, right? That's going to be Beto. So he could win because he's somewhat charismatic and likable, and that's all you really have to be, is just not Hillary Clinton, who is the exact opposite. And I've said from the beginning, there's 4 people that can win this shit. 4 people. That would be the triple Bs, Beto, Bernie, Biden, and then Kamala Harris. And I really don't know who's going to win. Like, I thought it was going to be Beto. It's a tough one, man. Gun to my head right now, I say Kamala Harris, right? I say Kamala Harris simply because she's black and female, right? And that's, as you can see with the headline here, that matters to the Democratic Party. It's got to suck to be a white Democrat. Can we talk about that? Do we have any white Democrats in the House? White male Democrats? Can we talk about, like, does it ever get awkward for you? It would just seem so awkward, right? Because it's like you're talking, and like secretly in their heads, like half the people you're speaking to are like, yo, shut up, white boy. We don't need another white guy. Like when your party is so obsessed with identity politics and you don't fit into that identity, then how can you expect to rise in the party, right? It doesn't make any sense. That's what's cool about the Republican Party is they don't care. Like they will vote. Yeah, it's a mostly white party, right? But, like, they won't deny a guy because he's black. They're never like, yeah, we can't. Like, Tim Scott, the senator from freaking South Carolina, you know, it's as conservative a state as you get. He got elected. What's up with that? Mia Love, even though she lost her re-election, she got elected twice as a black female Democrat from Utah. So it can happen, right? The Republicans don't do that. It's such an advantage. Like, Democrats are obsessed with, like, dividing each other. Like, oh, we can't listen to this guy because he's white. You got to check your privilege. And that's all it's going to be. They're going to get called out by Kamala Harris or whoever, right, for being white. And they're also being called out for, like, Bernie Sanders is being called out for, like, being against reparations. Reparations. That's insane. Like, literally, you want me to give money to Didi Delgado over slavery. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Like, she hasn't taken enough. Stop it. Stop it. That's like a real issue. Liz Warren says she's in favor of it. Kamala Harris is in favor of it. And as this primary goes on, they're just going to be trying to outwoke each other, right? And they're going to be looking for flaws, right? Anytime any of these guys did something that was somewhat conservative or sided with the Republican, they're going to get attacked for it. That's what happens during primaries, right? Like Marco Rubio got eviscerated during the primaries because at one point he supported amnesty for, I think it was for DACA kids, right? Oh, no. not amnesty. They just ripped them apart for it. That's what primaries do, right? They radicalize each party, and that's an unfortunate part about the two-party system is that, you're just getting the worst of the worst at each. That's why you get Trump versus Hillary, because of the two-party system, right? Because a regular moderate person cannot get a nomination in this country. It can't happen. Joe Biden is really as normal even though he's creepy as hell. Joe Biden is somewhat of a likable person as well. But he literally, like a week or so ago, he said Mike Pence is a decent guy. And then he had to apologize for it because they just attacked him. Mike, you can't even say a guy's a decent guy. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee Beto and Bernie and Biden, they're all going to have to apologize for being white. It's a guarantee it happens. Guarantee it happens. Right? So, I think at the end of the day, I voted for Trump in 2016 because his opponent was Hillary Clinton. I wasn't exactly excited about Trump, right? Because I wasn't the biggest fan of his. And I'm still not the biggest fan of his. However, I am pumped for 2020. I can't wait to vote for Donald Trump in 2020. It's going to be my pleasure. And I think he's going to win by more. I do. A lot of people are saying, the Democrats seem to think that, everybody just hates him. Like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's giving this speech like, America is literally garbage. What plant? That's not how anybody else views this country, right? Nobody else is waking up and be like, oh, it's so fucking terrible here. Oh, America, stop oppressing me. If you think that kind of message resonates with voters, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait to vote for Trump in 2020. Personally, that's just me. Bernie's going to croak. Yeah, Bernie is the one advantage that Bernie has in this primary, right, is that he is literally 1,000% socialist, right? And so that's going to be his advantage, right? Is that there's no one else like him in the party. The rest are going to kind of split the vote. All the freaking really nut jobs are going to vote for Bernie. And it's going to be like a Jason Correa. It could be a Jason Correa situation, right? Where Bernie gets, 35% of the vote, but the rest the normal Democrats all split each other's votes, and then he gets in. I could easily see that happening. Easily. Oh man, President Bernie Sanders. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. I had a South Park reference? I didn't even know I did. I'm serious what I said. I really appreciate you saying that. I don't forget the good old skull. Talking about Brett. Okay. All right. Any questions you guys have? I'll take any questions you guys have now. Bummer, Bristol says. I woke up to American living standards again. I know. It's just I listen to her sometimes. I'm like, they're acting like the sky is falling. It's the unemployment rate has never been lower. What are we talking about here? Are you really trying to convince us that life is this bad in America? It just doesn't seem like something that's going to work, Yeah, Bernie got kicked out of the hippie commune for being lazy. That never gets old. That never gets old. What else are people saying? We can solve this real easy. Democrats and Republicans get drunk on St. Patrick's Day, and the winner rules the country. Okay. What are they doing with 190? That's a great question. 190 is an absolute fucking third world country right now. I should do a blog on it, especially between exit 5 and exit 7. It's 10 miles of shit. You feel like you're driving in Sarajevo after a NATO airstrike or something. It's insane. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to drive on 190 and just videotape it. It's the most insane shit I've ever seen. They shut down Route 2 today because a bear family set up their den in the middle of the median in Route 2 on Templeton. I swear to God that happened. They had to shut down the whole freaking highway over a freaking bear family. That's kind of cool, though. I'm just glad it didn't happen when I was anywhere near there. But who lives in Templeton anyway? Who cares? The Cosmo blog earlier was gold. I was laughing the whole time. Yeah, I haven't even had a chance to read it. She just told me she published it, so I'll check it out afterwards. I'm sure it's good because Bristol's very talented. Did you talk to Dawson Boston? No, I did not talk to Dawson Boston. I'm actually waiting the paperwork in the mail. All right. Silent Cow's a truck driver. He travels a lot, and it's a dump. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. If you had to move to any of the Bone Ride towns, which one would you pick? That's a great question. So if I could pick just, do I have to factor in money and standard of living? Because some places are a lot more expensive than others. I don't know. I think it's good to be in obviously anywhere near a highway, right? But I've gone to a lot of these towns. Some of my favorite towns in Massachusetts, like on the South Shore. I don't like many towns on the South Shore. The South Shore is so average. Everything there's so average. Abington, Whitman, Weymouth. They're not really dumpy. They're just average and blah. Right? Avon. It all looks the same. There are some South Shore towns I like more than others. Right? I like, Marion's lovely. If you ever been down there on the South Coast. Or I like Lakeville. I like Rehoboth. I like Rehoboth a lot. That's a cool town, even though it's a little bit inaccessible. I like Mansfield a lot because Mansfield's right on two highways. Mansfield's a cool town because it's got a good high school. Franklin's a good town. I like Franklin. And the North Shore is so fucking crowded. The South Shore at least is a little bit more spread out. But the North Shore, it's like freaking Medford, Malden, Arlington, Belmont, Cambridge, Revere, Lynn. I mean, it's like every fucking town has 1 million people in it. And then everything above Beverly has nobody in it. It's like fucking crickets up there. You get up to like Topsfield, Hamilton, Wenham. Those are nice towns. Hamilton and Wenham. I wouldn't mind living in those towns. But yeah, I would probably live somewhere. I mean, I guess that's one good part about living in Worcester County is there's a lot less traffic and shit, But yeah, that's a very good question. I do like Holden. Right, the number one town that I would like to live in central Massachusetts, where we were looking to live, was Sterling. Sterling's like my favorite town in central Mass because Sterling has 2 exits on 190. It's a little bit more east, so you're a little closer to like Boston and shit. And it's it's a nice town. Like there's no ghetto shit in Sterling or anything. It's like very, very accessible. I don't mind Leominster. A lot of people don't like Leominster. I like Leominster. We're looking at, you can buy a really cheap house in Rutland, right? But the problem is you're in fucking Rutland. Rutland is like, it's the center town of Massachusetts, but there isn't a highway anywhere near fucking Rutland. Going through Holden every day, I call it the Rutland Express. It's like the fucking main street. You don't even think about going on it. Because all the morons are going on to Rutland. It's fucking insane. There's only way to get there is you gotta go through Holden. Terrible. So there's my rant about Rutland. We do need the bone rides to come back. It's just, they're time consuming, man. They're time consuming. I got a fucking site to run here, And you need like a whole fucking day to do it. And I told you how we started off doing a plow ride last week, right? I started doing a bone ride to do like the worst plow towns. By the time I got to Gardner, the towns were all fucking plowed. Like it was like 45 degrees, so the snow was all melted, right? Let's see. We need to talk about that theft from Ulta. Yeah, the Berlin police and their fucking Ulta thefts. It's like, give me a break. I'm going to have to do a blog on that later. Have someone do it. What else are people saying? Bristol, Route 1 about to get worse. North of the city, too. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't... Like, I've been to Revere. Revere is the least place I'd like to live ever because of the fucking traffic. The only place worse than Revere is Winthrop. Just to get to fucking Winthrop, you have to go through Revere or East Boston. And there's fucking planes going over your head. I'd rather kill myself. That's what we need to bring back. I need to do a new blog on the 25 worst places to live in Massachusetts. Obviously, Lawrence is 1. Chelsea is 2. Right? I don't know what would be number 3. It'd be a good question to find out the answer to. Why hasn't anyone called out Facebook for shutting down the other day? Even high-profile sites ignore this. I mean, they didn't really shut down. They were just fucking broken. That's more like, it wasn't them censoring or anything. It's just embarrassing on their part. But it did make you realize, right? You're like, man, fuck are we going to do without Facebook? It's like, we are really fucking dependent on these tech companies, right? We're all fucking addicted. It's not healthy, man. It's not a healthy thing, right? And what's really fucked up is that when Facebook went down, so did Instagram and WhatsApp, because they're both owned by Facebook. If that's not a monopoly, I don't know what is. Right? I don't know what is. So those are my thoughts on Facebook shutting down, is that it proved once again yesterday how addicted we all are to this and the monopoly aspect to it. You can't have that. Rowley is nice. Rowley is so freaking, is the biggest waste of a coast I've ever seen. I don't think there's a beach in Rowley. It's on the ocean. They have a long coastline. I don't think there's a single beach there. It's just like farmland and nothing. What a waste of a beach town Rowley is. Ipswich is the beach town in the North Shore you got to go to. But it's impossible. Ipswich, talk about a fucking hard town to get to. There's no easy way to get to fucking Ipswich. I'll tell you that much. What else are people saying? Ashby, yeah. Don't move to Ashby. Nothing's in Ashby. Duxbury's a bomb. Yeah, Duxbury is a beautiful town. Those coastal towns are very nice. Duxbury, Marshfield, beautiful homes in those towns, right? I want more Frank updates. You mean Franklin? What are you talking about? Medford is where it's at. You can have a great neighborhood or an absolute disaster 0.5 miles from Boston. That's true. Medford isn't as bad as, like, fucking Revere or Chelsea or anything like that. It does have a little, but it's just so crowded, man. I can't deal with the crowdedness, What about New Bedford? Yeah, what about it? Absolute shithole. Rather kill myself than live in New Bedford. Move to South Dorchester. Yeah, you mean Milton? Yeah, sounds like it. How do you know where Ashby is? Well, it's right next to Fitchburg, right? It's right north of Fitchburg. Holland, you could have a lake house for $175,000. Holland's not a bad town. I don't mind Holland. Wales is a shithole, though, right next to it. There's towns called Holland and Wales. A lot of people don't know that. Let's see. I'm in Lunenburg. Let's see. I think Facebook down for 8 hours. Let's see. Rockport. Yeah, the only thing with Rockport is you got to go through Gloucester. Pain in the ass to get to Rockport. Try Needham. Oh, Needham is a fucking beautiful town. Beautiful town. Like, I love Needham. But, again, I'm not a millionaire, and I feel like Needham is for millionaires. So, I'm out of luck. I hear Hubbardston a nice town to live in. You know how I feel about Hubbardston. Big fan of Hubbardston. Let's see. Sterling is beautiful. Oh, people got nice things to say about Sterling. Weymouth is fantastic. If you like meth, you got that right. Is there any farm town? Then there's a farm town in New Braintree where you can hear chipmunk fire. Yeah. No thank you on New Braintree. I know you like that. No thank you. What else are people saying? Will there be a Turtle Clan at the parade? Didn't they reschedule it? Yeah, I'll probably be at the parade. Yeah, they did reschedule it to the 24th. That's correct. Here's an interesting question. Would you vote for Elizabeth Warren if she not only took down Facebook, but also introduced legislation to eliminate the sharks on Cape Cod? Not only would I vote for her, I would donate to her campaign, and I would knock on doors for her. All would be forgiven. If she fucking fixed Facebook and eliminated the sharks, she would be the greatest president ever. There's no two bigger problems facing society right now than sharks and Facebook. By far the two biggest plagues we have. Sharks and Facebook. She can fix both of those. Kiss you on the lips, Liz Warren. Let's see what else is saying. Can't beat Duxbury. Can't believe you talk about the South Shore and you talked about Mansfield and Whitman, but not Duxbury. Yeah, no, I know. And Plymouth. Well, there's a lot of towns in the South Shore. It's fucking huge. I didn't talk about Pembroke. I didn't talk about Norwell. I didn't talk about Hanson. I didn't get to a lot of towns, right? Let's see. Brockton, number 3, biggest shithole. I could definitely see that. Revere Beach is hidden with junkies. What else are we saying? Coleraine up for me in the top 25. Fall River will be up there, but Fall River, I think New Bedford is shittier than Fall River, to be perfectly honest with you. Chicopee has some nice parts to it, a lot of shit parts to it. Let's see. I didn't know Turner Falls, Montague was such a bad place. The downtown area looks like walking scene of the 80s. Yeah, it's pretty shitty in Turner Falls. Even Ben Shapiro is not called out Facebook because Ben Shapiro's afraid of Facebook, right? I've been in contact with the Daily Wire people about this and about writing a story about what's been happening to me. They literally told me that they're not going to do it because they're afraid of losing their page. I mean, I like Ben Shapiro, but he's kind of gutless, right? And he's kind of like an establishment guy, doesn't want to piss off the left too much, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, he's very smart, and I like him, and I agree with him a lot of stuff. But kind of a pussy a little bit, Ben Shapiro. Afraid of Facebook, and that's gutless to be like, you're like, oh, Facebook, please don't kick me off. I promise I won't say mean things about you. Yeah. What else are saying? I was thinking about the Berlin PD thing. I wonder if the cop who runs the Facebook page is married to the banging. I know it's insane. This one store in Berlin, Ulta's, gets robbed every fucking weekend, and then the Berlin police post about it, and they're like, we need your help identifying these people. It's like, why? Are you their personal security? Like, why? How about Ulta's actually hire somebody to do loss prevention? How about that? Just a thought. Marblehead, yeah, that's a nice North Shore town. I like Marblehead. Ipswich is the beach town. I think Gloucester. No, man. Gloucester is obviously has beaches, right? But Gloucester is is a tourist town. Right? It's a fishing town. It's a bigger town. Ipswich, the only reason to go to Ipswich is to be a beach bum. I had a good friend from Ipswich in college, right? Everybody in fucking Ipswich, all they do is the beach. And guess what? Nobody ever leaves Ipswich. It's the most towny town I've ever been to in my life. Nobody has ever left Ipswich ever, right? They're like, I'm going to go to college for 4 years, then go back and be in Ipswich and get in my boat, and I'm going to drink beers with my friends on the beach all day. It's like a fucking Corona commercial, 24/7 in Ipswich. Yeah. Let's see, what else are people saying? Let's see. P-Town Turtle, the Summers. Yeah. P-Town's a pain in the ass to get to. Pain in the ass. I've heard a lot about Great Barrington. I like Great Barrington. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Right down in the southwest corner of the state. I'm running the Celtic 5K before, so I'll be there. Yeah, maybe I'll do that too. We'll see. How I'm injured a lot. I haven't run a race in a couple years. New Bedford isn't that bad. Just some areas suck. So much better. Yeah, there were a lot of areas of New Bedford when I was like, I thought I was in Acushnet or I thought I was in Fairhaven. And it's like, or I thought I was in Dartmouth. The really shitty part is down at the bottom. The closer you get, there's a whole area that's parallel with the freaking water, with the docks. It's just fucking hell over there. It's awful. All right. Oh my God, Holland and Wales. So excited. Unc knows those towns. Oh, I've been there. I did a bone ride through Holland and Wales. Through Sturbridge, Southbridge, all that shit. I couldn't believe how dumpy Wales was. What a shithole. What a terrible place. Holland was nice, though. I liked Holland. We got a lot of Hubbardston people in here. Holy shit. Concord's a lovely town, but I wouldn't want to... That's another thing you got to factor in is the people. I wouldn't want to live amongst Concord people because they're awful. No offense if you're from Concord. Woonsocket's gorgeous. Yeah, right. Let's see, what else are people saying? Hull is beautiful, but impossible. Yeah, it's really hard to get to Hull. I agree with that. Sutton is nice. I got no beef with Sutton. Let's see. And yes, I would sell it over Sharks. You goddamn right. Kill the Seals, the Sharks will leave. That works too. Definitely. Oh, feed Zuckerberg to the Sharks. Now we're coming up with ideas. Now we're getting somewhere, folks. Let's see. I'm gonna go dolls. Even I would definitely bang her if she killed the Sharks. No doubt about it. What else are people saying? How about Becky? I talked about her the other day in the thing. Did a blog about it. Go read it if you haven't read it. My take on that is simple. Stop telling people to go to college. It's the dumbest advice you can give these people. Some chicks, like, Aunt Becky's kids, their daughters, they were made to be eye candy. That's it. That's it. That's their purpose in life, and that's fine, right? You know why it's fine? Because they're supplying a demand. Aunt Becky's kids, their job is to be attractive and stupid. That's it. Like, do you realize how many shows there are about stupid, rich, white girls who sit around and talk? That's it. There's fucking so many shows about it. They're all on MTV. And it's like literally all you have to do is just be, there's a market for that. And that's the beauty of capitalism, right? So why are you going to college to be something you're not? Your job is to be an Instagram whore. That's it. Good for you. You can make a living off of that. Good for you. Stop going to college. Stop it. Let's see. Anything else you guys got to say here? Cranes Beach, exactly. I mean, Cranes Beach is like the big beach in Ipswich. But there's a lot of, like, more private beaches you can go to. Let's see. They never leave, same as Essex. Yeah, Essex is for old people. Bunch of fucking antique stores there. That's another terrible place I'd never want to live. Essex. Manchester I'd like to live, obviously. Manchester by the sea. But again, De Niro. You haven't read a single story about it, huh, Rich? About the whole Facebook queef? I'll have to Google it and see what comes up. That's interesting. They were very quiet about it. They definitely didn't, explain it very well what happened. They said it wasn't a DDoS attack, which I believe because they have, 1 million servers they probably use or whatever. Yeah. Is Netflix going to drop Lori Loughlin? I'm sure they will. I'm quite sure they will. Man, look at all these comments. A lot of comments here. All my friends are trade. Anybody like gas station encounters? People are talking about Monty Tech. All right. Yeah, Sephora dropped the woman's daughter and all this shit. They're fucked. I mean, whatever. They're rich, though, so it doesn't really matter. But they deserve it. I mean, honestly, I don't even think they should be charged with a crime. Why the fuck is it $1 million bail? $1 million for what? What did Aunt Becky do that's that bad? Honestly. What'd she do? Right? In America, rich people get to buy shit that we don't get to buy. That's the way it is. So she wanted to buy her stupid daughter into college. Is it immoral? Sure. Is it unethical? Yes. How is that illegal? I don't get it. The guy taking the bribes is the one who's doing something wrong because he's orchestrating the whole thing. But you're like, dude, yeah, sure, you can get my daughter into college. Here's $1 million. Whatever you gotta do. What's so wrong with that? I don't know. I feel like it's a free my boy situation. $1 million. That's like what murderers get. $1 million bail. $1 million because you fucking paid to have your stupid kid get into school. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, Felicity Huffman's never really been a looker. Never really been that much of a looker. But certainly Aunt Becky looks good. If they make bail higher for the rich people, then make it cheaper for the poor people. Yeah. I feel like you shouldn't take that into account. Oh. It must be a crime to still look as hot as you did in 1995. Yeah, well, speaking, I wonder what Kelly Kapowski's up to these days. She's probably looking good too. All right. Anything else here? Do the shares on a blog correlate with page views on a blog? It's interesting what goes viral and what does not. Yeah, I mean, the more a blog is shared, then more than likely we're getting more views on it. But we've been killing it for page views, man. We've been averaging 80 to 100,000 people a day on the site. It's been like the old days. That's like what we were at back in our peak. And we get so many more people that come to the site. That was one good thing about yesterday when Facebook went down. The number of people who went direct to the site skyrocketed. Because once people realize they need the turtle and the turtle isn't coming up on Facebook page, they're smart. They just go right to it. It's a nice thing. All right. All right. So anything else here before we call it a night? Isn't faking tests frowned on? It is, but those tests are all a scam anyway. You know. The whole college is just overrated. Who gives a fuck? Oh, my kid cut the line to get into college. My kid cheated. Look, so what? So did the fucking basketball player. You think he's going to school because he's fucking smart? No. No. He's going there because he makes the school money. That's it. All right. Why don't we end it there, right? And we'll call it a night. Did I lose this fucking podcast? We'll call it a night, and we will see you guys on Saturday night for the live show. All right? Peace, Turtle Riders.